Imagine owning the best performing asset in human history and still being broke. In today's video, we're diving into Jack Mallers' shocking 2025 Bitcoin keynote. And trust me, this isn't just bullish hype. This is your final warning. If you're a hodler, you're about to face the toughest decision of your financial life. So stay tuned.
Bitcoin is booming. Are you cashing in or missing out? At Drip2 BTC, we're rewriting the rules of Bitcoin investing. Earn up to 30% ROI on your deposits, unlock incredible Bitcoin discounts, and transform credit into up to 3,000% APR growth. No hassle, just real results. Don't wait, your future is one deposit away. Drip2BTC.com. Invest smart today.
Hey guys, welcome back. Drip Coach here with Drip Hands Farm for Poverty, where we don't trust, we verify, and operate with integrity and transparency. Diving into, as I mentioned, the keynote from Jack Mallers, and he introduced this topic, and you guys would already know if you've been watching my content, watching his content. Been trying to bring clips from him on at least once a week because I feel it's just like a nice digestible summation of what we're facing right now, and it's just all about the debasement of the dollar, the decreasing buying power of your wealth, the stealing of your financial energy over time, whatever you want to call it. It's happening in real time, and it's going to accelerate, as we know, with the debt. So in this video, that I'm going to play a couple clips, Jack's going to basically rewind the clock on where we're at, how we got here, and then what this quote-unquote hodler's dilemma is. And spoiler alert, you should already know what it is, and I've been talking about this as well. But if the answer is to never sell your Bitcoin, well, the question is, how do you have the most powerful asset in the world and still be broke? Because if you don't sell it, then you can't benefit from it. So let's play the clips from him basically introducing all these topics. Like I said, I think we're getting about here.
Vicious fiat cycle. The problem is pretty simple. When the US government and the Federal Reserve prints dollars, those dollars become worth less. That makes the life that we all want further away, unachievable, not affordable, right? That then forces everyone to borrow. You get into debt. People are using credit cards, student loans, buy now, pay later, mortgages, all right? And this now has forced households are over $18 trillion in debt. Credit card debt's passed $1 trillion in the United States of America, okay? And the US dollar, since it was launched at the Federal Reserve a little over 100 years ago, has lost 97% of its purchasing power. And this cycle repeats because all of our paychecks in this room, I don't care who you are, all right, I don't care if you're Donald Trump, Michael Saylor, it doesn't matter. None of our wages are keeping up with the inflation of all of our assets. And this is the problem. This is why we're all here. I call this the vicious fiat cycle, right? And if you look, I mean, this is the growth of debt in the United States of America.
So that's a big point to mention, is that this is definitely the case in the debt-based economy of the US. And I can only speak for it and living in Cambodia for the last 9 years. So I know that Cambodia doesn't really have that debt-based system. You can get credit, you can get loans, but it's much more difficult. Unlike the US, where if you're 18 years old, you can get a credit card. Hell, even if you're younger than that and your parents put you on a card, he put you on a card, put you on insurance policies, whatever. They can build up your credit score, and then by the time you turn 18, you could have tens of thousands of dollars of credit. Plus, every single kid, pretty much regardless of their credit score, is allowed to go into debt for college. So it is a definitely entrenched slave-based system that we have been born into, that we're just assuming it is the only way forward. And kind of like, again, what Jeff Booth says, it's like the biggest lie ever told, because we believe that inflation is necessary, and that is a lie. You don't need inflation, but it's built into the system, and so is the debt. So we just believe it's the way to live. So unfortunately, there is this massive amount of debt, not only from us, but from the US government as well.
This is the growth of credit card debt. And it's not just at the individual and the family home level. This is our federal government. And listen, I know every reporter wants to ask me, Republican, Democrat, left, right, up, down. Guys, it's a bipartisan thing. We're in a debt-based financial system, right? Yes. This is a chart. What shitcoin do you guys think this is? This is the US dollar. The best time to go to Whole Foods and buy eggs with your dollars was 1913. Every other time after that, you're getting screwed, right? Okay, now this is a little bit more interesting. Check this out. So the US dollar, we divorced from the gold standard in 1971. So I'm no artist, but I'm trying my best. That's where my arrow is pointing down on this slide. So you can see once we started to print money, right, and we're divorcing ourselves from the physical realities of Mother Nature, it's really benefited the top 1%. The rich have gotten a lot richer, and the rest 90% of us, we're the ones that have stagnated income, or now it's declining, right? Check this out. These red and green lines, these are the prices of a median house in New York and Boston. They're just getting more expensive. The bottom two lines, the gray and the pink, that's our income. We're not getting paid anymore, but the life around us is getting more expensive. Here's another one. How long does it take to save for a house? Well, while we were on the gold standard, it was a few years. Off the gold standard, it's a decade, right? This is my favorite. Okay, debt to go to Harvard. Okay, debt to get a house. Okay, debt to own a car. Debt to watch Justin Bieber? Debt to get a chicken sandwich?
Now that one is insane. I have not looked that up, but look at this title. Eat Now, Pay Later, DoorDash, Klarna deal fuels concerns about loans for takeout. That is crazy. And I can speak to this after, again, being out back here in the US. I'm currently on a cruise. By the time you guys watch this, I'll be off. But yeah, cruising got more expensive. But even looking at like regular fast food in my area, I went to Chipotle. And yeah, that was like $15. That used to be like a $7 meal. I haven't gone to like any fast food places like McDonald's, Burger King, or anything like that, Chick-fil-A, nothing like that, but I'm sure they're up in that same price. I was like, what in the world has happened, man? Like, this is crazy. And yeah, this, just for you to be able to get delivery, I could imagine, you know, I think I got something else at like this kind of gourmet burger place. I don't know if it's a franchise or not. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it was $25 just for, I think, yeah, it was a half-pound Angus. And did I get french fries? Yeah, and a drink. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, $25 or so. I was like, what is going on? So I could see this. I mean, this is clearly from NBC News, but yeah, debt. Like, there's just no way out of it because, like he showed in this slide here, even though it's for housing, it's like it's showing that your income is not following the trend for the cost of the assets. So it's definitely not following the cost of, like, you know, your normal consumer goods either. They want to lie and tell you that you have the CPI inflation rate of 2% or whatever the case may be, but you can look at the price of food. If you've been on this earth for longer than 25 years, or you at least have 15 years of purchasing history under your belt, you can look at the prices yourself and do the math and see, like, okay, I was paying XYZ 10 years ago. 2% a year means it should be 20% higher 10 years from there. Is it that price? And I'm sure you'll come up with the answer being no. It is far, far more expensive. So again, inflation is the greatest lie ever told. Not only that we need it, but also that they lie to us and tell us what the prices of stuff actually is.
This is the problem with fiat currency. They print it. It becomes worth less. Our lives suck and get worse. We get in debt. We never escape it. We are slaves to the system. It is our burden to carry, right? I believe that the banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than standing armies. If the American people ever allow private banks to control the issue of their currency, the banks will deprive the people of all their property until their children wake up homeless on the continent their fathers conquered. Thomas Jefferson. Current version of the dollar is not very American, but that's for a different presentation. How about Henry Ford? It is well enough that people do not understand our banking and monetary system. For if they did, I believe they would adopt Bitcoin before tomorrow morning. He said that. I swear. I was there. Okay, so what's the solution? I know a lot of you guys know some of this stuff. The solution is Bitcoin. It's pretty obvious, right? Bitcoin is the money that we conceive that nobody can print. You can't print it. You can't debase my time and energy. You cannot deprive me of owning assets, of getting out of debt, of living sovereignly and protecting my future, my family, my prized possessions. Bitcoin.
And that's exactly why we are here. The reason why I keep beating this drum as well, because finally stopped drinking the Kool-Aid with shit tokens and altcoins and all that stuff and realized that, yeah, Bitcoin is the foundation. It's the only thing that we know is going to continue to move forward at its pace that it has been, and there is a fixed supply of it. So, and I guess you could actually say that there's a deflationary mechanism built in. Well, yeah, you definitely can, because the halving in regards to supply, but also the fact that coins get lost all the time. So who knows how much from that initial 21 million supply is actually lost. Some estimates say, 10%, some go all the way up to 30, 40% that are lost. So who knows what that number is, but we can say with absolute certainty, it will be no more than 21 million. And because of that, it is the hardest money ever created. And because of that exact same reason as well, ask yourself this question in regards to which money would you like to hold or store your value in?
And to be honest, it's kind of simple. Like, let me ask you guys a question. How much of the money that only goes down, it's never done anything besides go down, how much of that would you want to own? Well, none of it, right? Yeah, of course. Okay, what about the one that's historically it just goes up? If you just hold it and you don't trade it, it just goes up. How much of that would you want to own? Well, probably as much as I possibly could, right? And so this was me.
And that's exactly what Michael Saylor had said as well. Is like, yeah, they're like, are you going to continue to buy Bitcoin, or how much Bitcoin do you want to own? He's like, well, as much as possible. And clearly that's what he's doubling down on and making his bets on. And we should all be copying that strategy as much as possible, because it really is that simple. How much of the money that only goes down do you want to hold? And the answer for that is as little as possible, like only what I actually need to transact in for now. And then of how much do you want of the currency or money that only goes up? And it's like, yeah, as much as possible. And that's the hodler's dilemma that Jack's talking about. And that's what I've also mentioned. I guess I kind of got orange pilled with Ledden and then hearing Jack talk about it. And there is definitely that third party risk when you do that, but you only have two options as a hodler. And option one, put as much of your capital as you can into Bitcoin and then sell for the times that you need to spend. So most of us have monthly expenses. If you got rent, if you got gas for your car, if you got a car note, you got insurance, you got a cell phone, you got Wi-Fi, you got clothes, you got food. Like, there's definitely something that we have to spend on a monthly reoccurring basis to sustain ourselves. And no matter where we live, most of us will only be able to transact in a fiat currency for those some things. So that means you either decide to take half of your earnings or whatever you need to transact monthly and keep that in fiat, and the rest you put into Bitcoin, or you put it all into Bitcoin. But either way, you're trying to move out of fiat as much as possible and into Bitcoin as much as possible. And if you're like me and you're going 100%, like Jack shows here in this picture, where you have nothing in your checking account, it's like, okay, well then now you're stuck at that crossroad that I was just mentioning of, do you sell it, or how do you actually use it without selling it? That's the hodler's dilemma that Jack's bringing up. So I have moved, I'm not completely in to 100% for my checking account. I still have some money in there because I'm getting ready to make my transition to South America. But once I'm in place there, yeah, I plan on moving all of that out. So I already cleared out the bank from like in Cambodia and other accounts that I had. And now my income every day or every month, whenever I get paid, I basically ensure that to the penny, it is moved into Bitcoin every day, just dollar cost averaging. So I'm going to be in this dilemma. So the question will be like, yeah, how do I actually spend
last January
and sustain myself in a country that I'm living in if everything is in Bitcoin? So that's where this other alternative comes in, where you can take a loan out against your Bitcoin. That's what he's basically mentioning that they've rolled out with the strike package and stuff like that at the end of this presentation. But wanted to bring that up because I still know a lot of you out there are on the fence with that, and I by no means am pushing forward towards going into a loan platform, but I am seeing more and more crypto-based loan platforms being created. It's not just Ledden, not just Morpho, not just Strike. There are tons and tons of other ones that I'm seeing like advertisements are, and I don't know if they're all legit or not, but I know this is the future because, as Jack mentions later on in his keynote, that this is the way literally that the US was created. They didn't sell the actual land to start building and expanding in the US. They took loans out against it, and banks way back in the day with the Rockefellers and stuff like that over in Europe was the same way. They used loans against it. Even Michael Saylor was talking about the same thing, that Bitcoin in the white paper says it's a peer-to-peer cashless system. And the first forms of cash were actually not gold. Well, the gold was the settlement layer, but they were already transacting in bank notes, basically. So it's always been something on top of a sound system. And that is essentially what loans allow you to do, is transact over the top of Bitcoin, and Bitcoin kind of be that settlement layer where your wealth is actually stored. So I want to know how many of you are facing that same hodler's dilemma. How much of your income have you moved out of the fiat trash system and into Bitcoin? And how much, what are your plans like based on that amount? Because if you have been orange pilled and you believe that Bitcoin is the only way out, then you're inevitably coming to the same conclusion that the rest of us have, and that's that you want to store as much Bitcoin as possible and you don't want to sell it. Or you're going to sell pieces of it, whenever you need to. And that's something I don't want to do, because I know that I won't be able to buy back in. So even if I sell, to fund my lifestyle and sell at 150K, I know when I'm able to buy back in that same amount, it'll probably be like 200K, 300K. Because I personally am in the camp that the bear markets will be shallower in the next going forward. So you may not get an opportunity to catch that dip like we want. We'll see though. But I just want to share that with you guys. Let me know what you think. Smash that HBO special, help a brother out, like, subscribe, comment down below. And until next time, lift daily and achieve your impossible.